Good morning. My name is Barry Kennedy, and this is my first video discussion board for HIUS 512, The American Revolution. The chapter from the book I decided to read was from Faith in the Founders of the American Republic, the second chapter, Vindice Contra Tyrannos, The Influence of the Reformed Tradition of the American Founding. This, of course, was written by Mark David Hall. The overall thesis of Hall's argument is that many historians that attempt to discuss the religious aspect of many of the founders only look at a select few, individuals including Jefferson, Franklin, and others. And according to Hall, there needs to be a much broader range of the founders and their religious faith in terms of what role that faith played. For the reformers, everything was grounded and enforced by God. They believed that families, government, churches, and everything else was ran and overseen by God's sovereignty. The Mayflower Compact was an example of an early covenant. It's just one of hundreds that were written in the New England area by different groups of the Puritans who wanted a pure society. They were anti-tyranny and anti-liberty. Mark Noll, in his book History of Christianity in America and Canada, the United States and Canada, says that Reformed churches, including the Dutch and the Germans, believed that the revolution was justified. That the Patriots' cause was a cause that was supported by God in terms of the faith and the belief in freedom and revolution. Gordon S. Wood, in his particular book, The Creation of the American Republic, 1776 to 1797, took a little different approach. He said that there was very little expanding on Christianity, but he did say on page 60 that the enlightened members of the American Revolution, as well as the evangelical colonists, were not at odds in 1776, which means that the ideas of the cause, the need for freedom, the Patriots calling for separation from Great Britain was all justified. And of course, all of this is, again, going back to Hall's work, is all justified in the belief of these reformers, individuals that believed that God was sovereign over all nations, that Americans were afraid of the idea or the concept of a bishop in 1774. The reformers played a major role in the creation of the Declaration of Independence. There's this quote-unquote Harvard thesis that was discussed as well. It was lawful to resist the supreme magistrate if the Commonwealth could be preserved or if it could not be preserved. And all this being said, is Hall's argument is that by looking at only a small handful of the quote-unquote extremely famous founders doesn't tell the entire story in terms of the American Revolution and the role that Christianity and the role that the congregational churches, the Presbyterian churches, these Reformed denominations had. He also points to the New England Primer, which was the most widely used form of school book in America. That there were over 2 million copies printed in the 18th century, and it was used for intellectual and also cultural influence. So, needless to say, these Calvinists, as Hall sometimes refers to them, and others, Noll uses this term as well, they believed in freedom. They believed that the time had come to break away from a tyrannical government, and that was the British. And they supported the Patriots' cause. And to tell a complete story of the American Revolution, all founders including Jonathan Winthrop and others, must be told. I hope everybody has a great and wonderful day. Take care of yourselves.